All right, so it's Tiffany, and I believe we are live. I'm trying to see here, and we're going to go live on Instagram. Good morning. Good morning. I am live on my own page here on Facebook. Instagram, we are on GF Mom Certified Instagram page this morning. Yes, my knee is up because my legs fell asleep if they go down. That's a different story. That's out of me. That being said, you guys can't see that here, but over here they can. Good morning. Easter, right? The Holy Week is up on us. Passover started last night. And I'm wondering, are you prepared? Because I am not prepared. Like, in the mix of trying to be an octopus, that's how I kind of refer to myself now, right? Doing 8 full-time jobs, including being a teacher and doing all of this stuff along with being a parent, working a job, managing a team, managing a business, managing our marketing team, trying to keep up with social media. Like, the list goes on and on. No, I'm not okay. That's the whole article I shared yesterday. But Easter is coming. Passover is already here, and it's not going to wait for us to be ready. This morning, I want to talk a little bit about strategies. I was actually very, very recently, just a little bit ago, on Amazon looking for Easter gluten-free that could arrive by Saturday so we could be ready. My kids definitely want to have an egg hunt, so we're going to make that happen in our own backyard somehow, some way. I did find out, though, that sorry about all the ums. My coffee is here. I'll get to that shortly. So yesterday I posted an article over on LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn, look up Tiffany Hinton. You'll find an article. It's called Easter Under Quarantine, because that is where we're at, right? And I give you a lot of suggestions. It's a fun little short piece. It's like 500 words, quick, easy read. You can do Zoom calls with family. You could even set up a Zoom video while you're eating Easter or I guess it's Seder for Passover, right? Meals, and you could actually put the computer screen or the phone in a seat at the table, set the table, and then they'll be there for you for those celebrations. You can still do your dyeing of eggs at home with vinegar and food coloring and hard-boiled eggs if you can get some eggs delivered. Easter egg hunts can still happen. There's also the ability on Eventbrite. There's some groups that are hosting virtual Easter Bunny visits. There's free Easter Bunny virtual visits for kids with autism. Those links are in that article. But what else can you do? So our house, we're going to actually get the girls involved and have them help prepare Easter dinner. We're going to slim down Easter dinner on Sunday. It's not going to be huge and like feed, 12, 15 people. It's going to feed 5 of us. I saw on Instagram yesterday, and I actually messaged them back, our local Polish deli, Katy Market, which is Chicago-based. They've got multiple locations. They've got mini hams, like 2-person, 4-person hams and sausages. So if you're able to get to the deli, they've got plastic gloves available for you to shop in the store, disinfectant. Like, they're making it more convenient. I am not leaving the house to do the shopping. My husband has chosen to do that role because he's already been exposed to the virus like a month and a half ago, and we're good. So he is our go-to person that goes out and gets our supplies. So I made our Easter menu. It was going to be a roasted chicken, but now I believe I'm going to do a mini ham. I think that'll be fun. We're used to having ham on the Sunday for lunch, so we'll go get our mini ham. The sun is out, guys. And then we're going to do mashed potatoes. We're going to do Brussels sprouts and asparagus because I have those in our produce box, so those will be easily available to us. And then I'm thinking about coleslaw. The only tricky part there is finding a vegan mayo, and I don't really want to make the vegan mayo myself, even though I could. So we'll see if I'm able to get vegan mayo, because cabbage I can get through the produce boxes that we get delivered, but the vegan mayo might be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to slide this and maybe it'll help. I don't know if it helped. It's still bright and sunny. Hello. Okay, so vegan mayo. I'm going to also make homemade bread for this occasion. I've got a gluten-free bread mix from Europe that's been sitting in our pantry that just takes water and vinegar. And so everything else is already in the mix. So I'm going to make that. It'll be a nice round loaf. Maybe I'll put some pumpkin seeds on it. The other thought was, because I'm having the girls help me, we can take that bread and separate the dough once it's risen and make hot cross buns, right? So hot cross buns are something traditional in the Christian faith for Easter. You basically take dinner rolls while the dough is baking, and you cut a cross in it, and it kind of expands and opens up. So that, if we do hot cross buns, I'll share those with you in our stories. But that would be the other thing we could do instead of making a full loaf of bread. So we're looking at a mini ham, some potatoes, some vegetables, and some bread. And that will be our Easter dinner. We plan to watch services for Easter on television. Well, they'll be streamed from the internet, of course. Many of your churches are pre-recording. I actually talked to somebody the other night who's in a choir, and they went and they recorded Tuesday night the service, and then they're just going to be streaming it. You can also get streaming live on Facebook. There's going to be live Passover services and Seder services. So all of that will be happening. You can find all of that virtually. So don't feel like you're losing out because you can't get to a place of worship. You can do that at home, no matter who you worship or where you worship. All of that is available online. You guys just go out and look for it. It's there for you. And then it comes to the hunts, right? The children's activities. So again, I'm out this morning on Amazon looking for gluten-free Easter treats and foods, and I found 3 companies that have stuff in the Amazon warehouse that will be here Saturday. Now, the tricky part is, do we have plastic eggs? No, we do not. So we might be hiding like my grandmother used to. My grandmother, growing up, Easter was get up, sunrise service. Like most of our family went to sunrise service, which meant you were at church at 6:30 or 7 a.m. Then you would go from sunrise service to my grandmother's house. And my mother's mom is who we would go see on Easter. My grandma Eileen had 8 children. Those 8 children had 52 children, right? So I had 52 first cousins. Most of us stayed in West Central Illinois growing up. Now we're everywhere, like all over everywhere. There were a few of my grandmothers, actually only one, that moved, and my Aunt Mary moved out west to Arizona, and so that her kids did not come for Easter. They always came for 4th of July, and they would drive the station wagon back from Arizona to Illinois. But anyway, Easter, so we're missing 2. So we still had 50 first cousins, aunts and uncles, 7 of them married, so 14 adults, plus my grandma and my grandpa. And then if anybody was dating, because our first cousins ranged in all different age groups, right? They would bring if they wanted to, whoever they would bring it for a date, right? And so what my grandma used to do is every family had to bring a dish for Easter. My grandma supplied the ham, and then everybody brought a dish to pass and a dessert. So there would be these buffet lines, and we always said, go get your plate. That was the phrase that was used when I was growing up, go get your plate. And lunch was called dinner, and supper was supper in the evening. So for dinner, for Easter dinner, we would and it was very interesting. You would eat in shifts because of the amount of tables and chairs that were available. And we would do egg hunts in shifts, right? And so the little kids always started out first, and then they'd move to like the middle school group, and then the high schoolers, and then the adults would eat. And same way for the Easter egg hunts. What you would do is you would bring a bag of treats, candy, Smarties, I don't know, Nerds. What else did we used to have? Hershey Kisses. Chocolate eggs would come sometimes those sixlets, right? Do you guys remember the sixlets? And they had like 6 little chocolate balls in them. Those were kind of the candies I remember from Easter. Very rarely did we get lollipops or chocolate rabbits. That was not part of Easter. But because there was no plastic eggs, it just did not happen where I grew up, they would just take the individually wrapped candy packages and hide them. And so for the little kids, it was funny. I can remember my Uncle David standing on a front porch, and he would just take the candy and he'd just go, and he'd just go out onto the lawn, right? And for the toddler group and those people under 5 years old, that was enough. They had to totter out on the grass. Hopefully it wasn't muddy on Easter Sunday, and they would pick up their wrapped candy. By the time it got to like the middle school group, they were strategically hiding the candy in places under 5 foot, right? Because they didn't want anybody necessarily to climb up a tree, but it would be like in the mailbox post or hid in the driveway. My grandma had parking blocks in her driveway, and they would hide them, so it would be strategically placed, and it would take a little bit longer, right? By the time the high schoolers got around, it was hilarious because the adults would think it was like this horrible trick if they couldn't find the candy. And so they would take about a half hour to hide the candy. And then it would take sometimes hour and a half for us to go out and try to figure out all the places where the candy was so that we would have Easter candy. We were all responsible for bringing our own buckets, or my grandma would give us a paper sack, like a lunch sack. So this year, coming back here, right, we're all on our own. There's no large family dinners to attend. There's no large family dinners to contribute to. So my girls are going to get to learn how to prepare in a smaller size, but at least prepare the food. The Easter egg hunt will probably be, because I can't find readily accessible plastic eggs that can be delivered to the house right now. It's probably just going to be individually wrapped things hidden in our backyard, and they'll go hunt that. That'll be all right. Easter rabbit, we have the opportunity to drive by the park district's headquarters on Saturday and wave out our window like a parade of cars, and the Easter rabbit is going to be standing out front of the park district building if we decide we want to go get in the parade line and drive by and wave at the rabbit. I'll leave that up to my younger two if they want to go and say hello out the window, but you're not supposed to get out of your car, roll down your window, or anything like that. You're just literally supposed to drive by and wave. That's probably best for everybody's protection and safety and health. So some key points I would point out for Easter for you guys, with the idea of, and I know this video is a little longer, but thank you for being with me. Good morning again, Britt. With the idea of autoimmune boosting, you might want to serve some fruit with your Easter lunch. You may want to serve some extra vegetables. Like we're having 2 things of vegetables, both asparagus and Brussels sprouts. They're both really high in vitamins and antioxidants. If you're somebody that does alcohol with your Easter dinner or your meals or your Seder or any of that stuff, look to organic red wine, because the antioxidants, the resveratrol in the red wine is really, really good for our immune systems and for our cells. So look to get an organic red wine. Dr. Tom, if you watched his yesterday, Coffee with Tom, he was talking about red wine. Stick to organic meats, produce, non-GMO as much as possible. That will help your immune system as well. Try not to do a lot of grains, processed sugar, or dairy. And I know that can be hard, but try not to do those 3 because they can tax your body, they can tax your immune system, and they can actually put more strain on your liver. And your liver is what you need to fight viruses. Your liver is what you need to actually produce the antibodies and go after the viruses and kill viruses if you get exposed. So remember, keep everything wild, raw, and natural for your dinner, and think like that. Good healthy salad would be awesome with a vinegar and oil dressing. So that kind of stuff. If you could do fish for Easter, that'd be another great option for you to help boost your immune system, is to do fish instead of ham or chicken. Okay. Your vitamin C, we already talked about. Get outside, go out and do those hunts, do those family walks, go ahead and walk around outdoors, get some sun. If you have the option to have a glass of wine on the patio with the sun out in the afternoon, do that. That's going to help with your vitamin D. And then stress level, right? Stress level contributes to our immunity and to our anxiety and everything else going on. So I would encourage you to check out the article we wrote on LinkedIn. You can go to Tiffany Hinton on LinkedIn and see our Easter Under Quarantine article. I'll also post the link under these videos here after I get offline, so you guys can click over and read that. Don't stress about Easter being perfect this year. If you want to go to Easter dinner in your pajamas, if you want to attend church services, religious services in your pajamas, you're going to do that from your own house. So don't freak out about getting up, getting into a fancy Easter dress, getting your white gloves, right, and getting your little hat on. Just throw your hat on and sit on your couch and enjoy the service, enjoy the music, enjoy the lunch, however it comes to you, and don't make it have to be perfect. Let go of perfection for this one year and just embrace compassion and love. I would also say, when you're sitting around the table, if you're able to sit around the table, no matter what anybody's wearing, sit at the table, share something that you are absolutely blessed by. It's not Thanksgiving, but it's a great practice, and it can help us recenter ourselves and just kind of focus on what we do have available. Okay? You guys have an amazing Holy Week, and you're all in my prayers. Bye. Have a great morning.